Hi, welcome to Jumpcast, the world's worst podcast about DMT and trampolining. Mainly trampolining, but today mainly DMT.
Yeah, this was meant to be the ISTO podcast, but it didn't happen because computers are horrible and they toy with your emotions.
Also, we don't really have all of the footage, so if you did Elite Pro, because if you're anything beneath Elite Pro, we're not going to
We don't care.
commentate about your routine. I'm really sorry.
We're not.
But please do make sure you add your routine to the drive so we can talk about it.
Yeah. So we're about to start. This is DMT Qualifiers for Women's British Champion in the senior category. It's a cumulative final, so again, 4 passes, 4 count. Only the best 8 will make it through to do 4 passes. The rest will be left with just 2 passes.
Right, well, we try and explain how DMT works once and for all. Is this the real thing?
This is the real thing.
Basically, we have a run-up. Is it the same as vault 25 meters?
I
or
think
is it shorter?
I think you're allowed up to 25 meters. I actually couldn't quite make it off there. But you can run up from whenever you want. Like, there's no minimum run up.
Yeah, it's the same for vault, but it's like the maximum would be 25 meters.
Yeah.
So that was a disappointing first pass.
Yeah. So, funnily enough, some clubs don't have 25 meters spare. So, some clubs, you'll see competitors always run from like 10 meters because that's as big as their hall allows them to.
Yeah, and that's like the amount of steps you're used to and just kind of like how you measure it out yourself. So, I think that is the case in many clubs.
I think at the British, they have to have a tape measure down the side.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful double straight there. Bit of a pace on the landing, but pretty nice. Yeah, so they have to have a tape measure down the side. So if you're trying to find your spot, you can quite easily measure it out. Some competitors just know the distance they want.
Yeah. Do you ever just like put tape down like in your club just to like remember, like to remind your gymnasts where they start? Or just like write it down in chalk.
Chalk.
I don't know if that's allowed here to write it down in chalk, or just like mark a line.
I don't think you're meant to mark the mat, but I can't imagine anyone being too.
I feel like you can in artistic though, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because they mark the beam as well in artistic.
Oh, fantastically accurate in the full tuck there. Really good pass.
So
the other strategy is you could just leave your water bottle or your chalk at the point
I
you
feel
want to
like
run
a British, they would kick your water bottle off, that's for sure. And I feel like that would also happen at Newt Comps and ISTO. Why would you leave your water bottle there?
For very different reasons. At Newt Comps, people just stumble across the room.
It just so happens that it works that way. So don't leave your water bottle lying around. That was a lovely half-out mount. So much height. So DMT, I failed to explain this properly last time because I tried to make it simple and it didn't work.
No.
So for those of you who don't really do DMT, like me, you can do a mount skill. So you run up, mount, land on the spotter, and dismount off the DMT ideally, which is not always the case, as we've seen during the warm-ups and in the first pass. Or you can do a spotter skill, so you straight jump from the first half onto the spotter, do a spotter skill, and then link the dismount.
Did you see that double straight? That double straight, oh my god, her legs go so wide in that double straight.
I did not see them.
I almost want to rewind it. Are we allowed?
Oh, come on.
Come on.
It's our podcast. We can
it's
do
our
what
podcast.
we want.
We're doing what we want, guys. Right.
Oh,
I'm gonna pause it. She's gonna hate me. If you're the person, the gymnast in question.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
I just missed it and I wanted to see it. Half had quite some height, and the first half of the double straight is fine. However, her legs do definitely come apart. This is the third time you're playing this.
I feel really bad for this girl now, but I kind of want to get the pause just right. Are we ready?
We could be here forever.
It's all about frame rate.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
It's almost like a brand new skill.
Yeah.
If someone did double straddle, I'd be so impressed. Honestly. Someone make it happen. It's like Ant's Yurchenko mount. Oh my god, we thought about a different mount, but I can't remember what it... No, sorry. We thought about mount spotter and dismount.
Yes.
Was that us?
Yeah,
talking about that?
I think last time you tried to cast this, You talked about spotters and how anyone who does a spotter is bad.
That's not true.
That's basically what you said.
Purely because someone is about to do a spotter move. That was so well timed. So normally, like very high level, you wouldn't really see anybody do spotter skills.
In the girls, you often see spotters. In the boys, you almost never. Yeah, even at Worlds.
Okay.
Even at Worlds. Yeah, the thing about the spotters is it allows you to reuse the half out. So you can use it either in the spotter position or do like double back spotter half out dismount. And you really need the double, two doubles in a pass to be competitive tariff wise with the rest of the group. But also, nobody does really, really hard spotter skills. You don't see any like full spotters. Speaking of full,
I would not want to see one.
Speaking of full, that's Ruth Shevlin from Dynamo with her coach Michelle.
You seem to know an awful lot about her. I wonder why.
I do. Michelle's like one of my favourite coaches in the world. She's absolutely lovely, and she's produced some really top class DMTists.
Oh, is that Jay?
That is Jay.
That's Jay from Liverpool Trampoline Academy.
I didn't know that.
That is brand new information.
I feel like Jay's like one of the few people who literally every single person knows.
Falling back dismount.
Cool. That's his competitor, Amy Walton. She's quite new up to seniors, I think. I think she's 18 now, so... But basically, if you're listening to this and wondering why we never cast, like, juniors, it's because when we make children cry, we're normally getting paid to coach. So we don't tend to do that for free.
Speak for yourself.
we don't make children cry for free. And also it seems a little bit harsh.
Yeah. But we decided not to show any footage of minors on this channel, which does seem like a sensible idea, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely the right choice. Although we do keep it PG, so if you are a minor and you want to watch this podcast,
you're more than welcome to. Just don't expect us to commentate your routine.
Yeah, exactly.
Very simple.
Also,
it's not entirely true because this is seniors, but there's still minors in this.
Are there 17-year-olds in this?
I think so.
Oh god.
We might have to crop you out if you're in this.
BG, please don't sue us.
Yeah. Oh, we don't own any of this footage. Any other disclaimers?
I've just realised I've had the taskbar at the bottom of the video for like the entire time.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
she almost had that. Oh, Kirsty Way. Almost fighting for the stick there, but not quite able to. I mean, when you take that one tiny step, it's annoying, but really, it doesn't affect your score too much. Like, sticking's nice, but really...
It's a nice feeling, though, just to, like, walk away from a stick.
Yeah. In terms of, like, priorities for DMT, it's really tariff, then landing zone, then, sort of, like, steadiness on your feet as you're landing, because... the zones count for so much more than the steps. Cecilia's brought blueberries, so if I have long periods where I'm not talking, that's why.
We're promoting healthy eating, because we do expect athletes to listen to this and to take some lifestyle advice from us.
So what's with this massive bag of Doritos?
That you brought?
Yeah. I've got Doritos, but I feel like that's going to be far too loud for this cast.
Yeah.
So this is Leo's coach, Andrew Wild.
He's just Leo's coach, and nobody else is.
I think it's the opposite. He's everyone else's coach. He's Leo's liability signature.
Oh.
On the tariff sheet. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be that.
Nope. A little bit underpowered.
Slightly under, in the half out.
Yeah. But they'll probably tariff that as piked, because it was piked for the most... Probably the first 1.25.
Big took down, though. Didn't quite have the power to keep shape and land upright. We're on to, I believe, the last...
Is this the last set?
Yeah.
Well, I say set,
like,
first pass.
First, run.
So you can choose to put your passes in any order. There aren't any set passes at this level.
Thankfully.
Yep. At lower levels, like Newt, They do. They do tell
that
you
was
what
a
passes
nice
you have to
double
do.
stray.
Yeah.
I also like her Leo. Oh, I'm so glad we're watching women's and I can finally commentate on the Leos.
I mean, it didn't stop you in the men's video, did it?
That's true.
And also, you can actually see the Leos here because they land and they're close.
Yeah.
But,
vote your favorite Leo from this qualifying round.
you know, like we're like a few hundred views on the other video and nobody's left a comment.
Except Ethan.
Did he actually?
Didn't he say do ISTO?
I haven't checked the channel.
I haven't either. Good height on the half and half out. This man with a nice kick out and just about steps out of the red area, but that was pretty good.
Yeah, phenomenal height there.
In the half and half, yeah, and
Yeah.
in the half out as well. But yeah, really nice lift, really well controlled pass. She knew where she was.
I wonder if
Got
she's
the job
working the
done.
pike, half and half perhaps.
I feel like she'd have the power for that.
Yeah, definitely. It's probably the hardest move to pike. Like,
Half and half.
oh my
I
god.
was talking about it yesterday with Izzy, and it's just no one really gets it super tight. They get the drift pretty tight because
Yeah.
you have a little bit more time and you have to get into a decent shape to get it around.
Yeah.
But just the half and half out is just not easy to do in a nice shape.
Yeah, that Arabian takeoff is just so tricky sometimes to get into a really, really deep pike. That coach there has lucked out because she's got two competitors, one after the other.
Yeah. This is not the same person doing their pass twice.
Yeah. I quite like having the tumbling in the background because they go in the opposite direction. So if you've got a quiet moment, you can just look over at the tumbling instead.
Ooh. And she sticks it.
Yeah, wonderful on the falling back there.
Oh, gets a hug. We talked about this. Hug versus handshake and high five and what kind of coach does what. I'm a hugger.
I like a chest bump, but if I do that to someone relatively smaller than me, then
You'll take them out.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, you know, you can only really chest bump seniors because if you do it to a junior, they just know.
They might never compete again. Good high in the half.
No.
We're seeing some really high half outs today, which I do appreciate. However, didn't quite make it in this mount. That's what I was on about earlier. Sometimes you go right up, which is fantastic in trampolining when that happens. Not so great in DMT.
So because it's a go on.
Sorry.
So because it's a cumulative total, and all the gymnasts know that, they might be tempted to put their harder passes in the first 2 rounds just to ensure they do make that top 8.
Yeah.
So potentially, what we could see in the finals would be easier passes than this.
Which is kind of not what you'd expect from a final, but
Yeah.
also the way it makes sense. It's smart to do it that way when all 3 scores count.
4 scores.
4 scores.
Yeah.
Oops, this is not trampolining. Can you tell I don't watch DMT?
I love DMT. It's actually more exciting to me to watch DMT.
Really?
Yeah. 4-4 in the straight position there. A little bit of bend behind the knees, but a solid landing right in the box.
Coach is over the moon.
She always is.
Oh.
Michelle has this way of making you feel like you're just the greatest gymnast ever.
Oh, that's so nice.
You know she's head coach.
He has a stance.
Yeah.
Sorry.
God. I was going to say, she's head coach at Uni of Manchester as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so she's with us on Fridays.
He has his own stance. Like, he literally stands that way when he's shadowing. I feel like he has his own particular way of shadowing and encouraging gymnasts.
Who's the Irish coach who holds the mat on his shoulder like a harpoon? He holds the mat like this.
Oh, hang on.
Is it Brian?
Maybe.
I feel like it might be Brian.
Where that comes from? Just having what he means is having one hand underneath the mat and another one just propped against it to push it in.
Yeah.
That comes from having really old, really bad, really floppy mats.
Yeah.
And the foam is actually destroyed, and you have to kind of like scoop it in and push it at the same time, because otherwise it will not slide in. Like it will get stuck. What?
It'll just like fold up.
It either like folds in half, or like it gets stuck on, like, you know, the like the Eurotramp label on the side.
Oh my god.
Okay, that thing is stickier than you'd expect it to be. One time, I fell off the trampoline, the side of the trampoline. This is not a great story, not for me anyway. But like I had a hole in my sock, and I was standing on that for like a little while, and like I probably started sweating, and my foot got stuck. So when I went to step off, my foot remained glued to the trampoline, and I fell off. Sorry.
Yeah.
We had a different type of fall here.
Yeah, different type of fall here. That double back tuck. She just couldn't get her ankles out underneath her properly. It looked like she tried to put her feet down, and her feet weren't actually like flattened.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's happened to me before.
Yeah, it looked really unstable on that landing there, and she just couldn't hold on to it.
It's not a nice feeling.
Yeah, especially on a double tuck.
That's how it happened to me.
Yeah.
Crazy way with a full-in tuck.
Difficult pass. Very difficult pass, but she keeps it entirely in the box.
She's capable of like very impressive difficulty. She was European champion.
Yeah.
And world silver medalist. She's on the British squad for DMT, obviously, looking to make another appearance at Worlds.
Yeah, DMTists don't get to go to the Olympics.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, instead you get to go to the physio and say stuff like, my ankle's hurt, and do you have any more tape? Good landing, but a little bit loose in the shape there. It's a little bit loose in it as it goes around. So the actual judging on the skills works similar to how it would on a trampoline. So each skill is marked from 1. So, you know, a really good skill might be a 0.1 deduction or a 0.2 deduction. So from 10, if you do 2 full skills and land it perfectly, the worst you can actually get is a 9-0. Because if you land it perfectly stick it.
Yeah, I do remember scores just being higher. Very short and a half out here.
Yeah.
Had to cowboy to make it to her feet.
Yeah, and that's the last of the women's qualifiers, actually. So, well done to everyone who competed.